Okay. We'll call this 2010 through 2013 Errata and Addenda. Why do we have Errata and Addenda? Okay, well, this is kind of complicated because, as I've explained, Cindy makes a lot of things happen in our lives, and there's stuff that goes on all the time. And trying to rebuild and do these videos, it's been a combination of looking at the Google Calendar, archived work calendars, the Google Maps timeline, and looking at pictures. And seeing a picture and going, God, where's that picture? And then going back to the timeline and find out where we were at that time, or going to the timeline to figure something out that we did sometime, and it's pretty complex. And with the pictures themselves, I've been using my Lightroom catalog. My Lightroom catalog, as I explained, is about 50,000 pictures. Well, Cindy also has a Lightroom catalog. In 2010 through 2013, after we got married, she was like, you take the pictures. And so most of the pictures that were made with my camera. And I had mentioned something the other day. I mentioned to her, we were talking about stuff that we've done, and I said something about the Chris Kyle range at Rough Creek. And she said, yeah, that was a cool day. And she remembered that we had taken pictures, but I didn't have any pictures in my catalog. So I hooked up her Lightroom catalog, and her catalog was a duplicate of my catalog to some extent. She's got a bunch of pictures in it, but here's some numbers for you. In 2010, there are 4,800 pictures in her catalog, and that includes the wedding. So we had a bunch of pictures by people who weren't us at the wedding because the wedding photographers were shooting. So of the 3,200 pictures that we took on cameras and phones, 2,800 of them were ones that I took because I was kind of the picture guy. In 2011, all but 17 of the pictures we took in 2011 were taken with my camera. And then in 2012, about 3,000 of 4,500 pictures with my camera. And then I was going to start paying attention in 2013, because in 2013 in her catalog alone there's 11,000 pictures, because that's when we started taking pictures of the cheerleaders. And I had a pretty good representation of the cheerleader stuff. So I went back and started looking at her catalog, and I picked some things up that reminded me of some stuff that were family memories and couple memories. There's a lot of stuff that we do. Cheerleading is a good example. We supported Elena and we went in cheerleading, and we have stories that are around the cheerleading, and we'll tell those stories, but we really haven't told the cheerleading story. And maybe we need to do videos about that so that Elena can see all the stuff that we captured. So the reason some of the stuff got missed and the reason there's an errata is because I saw some pictures looking through her catalog that reminded me of things. And the second piece is some of the stories, I mean, these videos, the 2013 video was like almost 30 minutes long, and I'd been trying to hold the videos to a little shorter time, but screw it, I'm just going to tell the stories and then talk about what our life was, because I think it'll be interesting to have it captured. So I don't care. If it takes an hour to tell the story of a year, it's going to take an hour. You can watch it if you want. We'll watch it, enjoy it, don't care. The first story is, and this is the 2011 story, that's a family story that we tell. And so I'll start the wildflower pictures down here in the corner, because there's so many of them. I just want you to get a taste of how many pictures we took in wildflower space. In 2011, I was working in Boston, and I was working on a big database for outside counsel. We were in a lawsuit, and I was about to come home one weekend, and it took so long to copy all of the data that we had put together in this database. And they needed 3 copies, and it was a 2 gigabyte file, and I had this stack of external drives that I was going to give the lawyers a copy, and we were going to keep a copy. And it became pretty apparent that it wasn't going to get done by the time I got on the airplane, and it needed to be in DC. I was going to have to overnight it to DC, and I wasn't going to get it done in time to get them the copy they wanted the next day. So I changed my flight. And instead of flying direct Boston to Dallas, I flew Boston to Reagan in DC, and then would turn around and fly from Reagan back to DFW. And the idea was that I would land in Boston and come out of security, meet a courier, or meet a representative from the law firm, give them the drives so we didn't have to FedEx them. Then I'd get on an airplane and go. And so I told the lead attorney, I said, I'll be at the American Airlines counter or the Delta counter in Reagan, and I'm the guy in cowboy boots and sunglasses that's sleeping on one of the benches because I'd been up until 4 o'clock in the morning. So I'm sitting there, leaned back, and this little odd-looking little dude is kind of hovering around. And he's looking at me, and he's looking at me, and he finally comes over and he says, "Woody?" And I said, "Yeah." And he had like an Eastern European accent. And so I talked to him for a minute. He was from the Ukraine, and I gave him the drives, and he went over and took him to the thing. And I got tickled about it because I was kind of like a super secret squirrel, top secret courier guy, you know, flying into one airport and giving the things to the guy with the Slavic accent and getting back on an airplane. So I started teasing about being a courier. And then we started teasing about courier training, which is really much more difficult than SEAL training. And that's been a story, that's been a joke that we have used over and over and over again, where I have received courier training, and I was a courier at one time. And it's a dumb story, but I tell it because it's a part of that laughter that continues on for us over and over and over again. The second thing that I found when I was going through Cindy's Lightroom catalog is that she has taken a lot of video. Now, I'm pretty much a still guy. I don't take many videos, or didn't take many videos until recently when I got a gimbal and I can do some other things with the video, because the videos are always choppy and jerky and I don't like the way it looks and the sound's terrible, and I just don't do videos. But Cindy had some cool videos of us in Big Bend, and I'll cut together some of the videos that she put of our trip to the Big Bend that I didn't know we had, that were kind of interesting and probably should be included here. So here's the videos that I found when I was going through that catalog that tell the stories of some of the story of our Big Bend trip and why it was so cool and how windy it was at Santa Elena and some other things.
This is really fun.
Isn't it fun? Are you going to get pictures of lightning, Elena?
Are you taking a picture of her taking a picture?
No, I'm taking video of her taking pictures. And of Benjamin. Whoa. And Elena taking pictures. Video of Elena. And now, video of Stacy. And video of Chloe. Hey, Chloe.
So cute.
Oh, Chloe.
Go get him. Go get him.
Yes.
Oh, God, I'm not. Oh, there's some movement there.
Really? Ooh. And then here we are at the Big Bend National Park, and with a phenomenal thunderstorm out in the background.
Let's go.
With awesome lightning.
Good girl.
But we're not seeing any lightning right now.
Where are you going?
Chloe's a busy dog. She eats sticks and grass and plastic bottles. Whoa, there's some over there in the distance. That's where the lightning has gone. See, that's the problem. It's gone away.
Good girl.
And then we have Elena, the intrepid photographer, with her determined look. She's a lightning catcher. She is determined to catch a bolt of lightning.
Oh, fish and wildlife, right? Oh yeah, so he's like looking, he's staring at the
Starting
You know, your sarcasm is not enjoyed. Besides, that's not the same quality of lightning bolt that we were getting in this other area. Okay, everybody smile for the video camera. I am videoing. I'm videoing. Everybody.
Hi.
Hi.
She's videoing. Hi. That means don't stand still. You gotta move. It doesn't do any good for her to video if you're just standing still. Then it's like a still picture.
That's what I mean. See, act animated.
Wait, what's that called?
You can take your leash off now.
Okay,
What's that
let's
car like?
go to the cut and look at the river.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Go.
We're going, Deb, tell us again, where are we going?
To the
We're
cut.
going down the road to the cut
Wait, what's that car
and look
like?
at the river.
Why does it look like that? But wait, what's the car like?
Okay, everybody say hi to the video camera because now I'm videoing. Hi. Hi. Hi, Dad. Peek forward and say hi to the video camera. Hi. See there?
We're going to the river.
We're going to the river. Okay, here we are, the Big Bend National Park, and we've got Dad and Susan, and they're okay. Wait, Deb, you were looking in? You were kind of like, hi, and then and there's Chloe with the ball.
Okay, let's saddle up and
Oh.
Now in 2013, we were shooting with the family, and I said that we had shot with the family, or we went out to the Chris Kyle range. I found the Chris Kyle pictures. Here they are, of us shooting at the Chris Kyle range. Then the next week, I had a video that I shot on my phone, which was unusual, of shooting tannerite. But she had some other pictures of us shooting with Scott and Shannon, and it's another example of putting the family together and doing things. So here's the Scott and Shannon pictures while we were shooting. That was the tannerite weekend. Found some pictures, and here they are, of a Ranger game. Josh was in town, and we took the family to a Ranger game. And I remember it now, but it's another one of those things where we put something together. It was kind of a cool deal that I, without seeing the picture, I wasn't reminded, and then see the picture and reminded of the whole weekend and the fun that we had. So here's the Ranger game that was missing from the last time. In September of 2013, I was working in Lake Charles, as we've talked about, and I was flying home every weekend. And Elena hadn't had an opportunity to have a man in her life that would do what he said he'd do. That's just not something that she's seen. It's not something she was used to. And so I was supposed to shoot the game, the Wakeland game. It was in Frisco, Texas. And since it took such a short time for me to get on the airplane and get here, the flight out of Lake Charles was in the afternoon, and it was just a jump on an hour later. It's all good. Well, on September the 20th, I think, of 2013, this big line of thunderstorms started marching through Texas, and this huge line of thunderstorms that went from all the way up at the Arkansas border all the way down to the Gulf. It was launching down through Texas in severe storms, and American Airlines canceled all of the flights out of Lake Charles. And I'm supposed to be in Frisco at the game at 7 o'clock to take pictures for the cheerleaders. And I didn't find out that the game had been canceled until 3 o'clock. And at 3 o'clock, or the flights had been canceled until 3 o'clock, and it's every bit of 5 hours for me to drive up there. So I was struggling about, could I drive or could I fly? And so then I called American and I rescheduled to route out of Houston. And so I drove to Houston and caught a flight out of Houston to get to DFW at about 7:15. And then Austin got me from the airport up to the game. So I was there late in the second quarter. Really did a lot to get there to take the pictures that I was supposed to be taking. And I mentioned that one of the other moms had wanted to be on the sidelines, and although she was okay with me taking pictures, I wasn't there and I wasn't taking pictures. And she kept poking Elena about, should I take some pictures? Do you want me to get my camera? I can go out to my car and get my camera. I can get my camera. I can take the pictures. Finally, Elena turned around and looked at her and said, "You don't have to take pictures. My dad said he'll be here. He'll be here." And that was really important to me. And it's been important to Elena, and it's been important to the family, because this was an opportunity for us to mold and bond together, that you understand that if I tell you I'll do something, I'll do it. And it provided a lot of stability for Elena and for us, and it's just a neat story. Last thing I found going through the catalog that Cindy had is I shot a wedding in October of 2013. Mike and Michelle Tadlock's a friend of ours. They were getting married and later in life marriage, and they didn't want to do a whole thing. And so I ended up shooting a wedding, and there's more about that later. But I went and shot a wedding for some friends, and that was another really neat thing that Cindy put me into, because she said, "Oh yeah, they'll shoot the wedding, no problem." And so then I show up and I've got to shoot a wedding. Never done that before. Interesting, fun, and another thing along the lines of us doing photography together and discovering photography. So, baseball game, the night I got to Wakeland on time. We'll add the pictures in, and this is just kind of the errata from 2010 to 2013, and the videos after this 14 and on probably longer, because I'm gonna tell everything.